So my name is Wilk. I'm a realtor in Vancouver. I've been in real estate since 2005, 2006. While I was in BCIT, I was working pre-sale. Jumped into resale, sort of started on my own in 2010, and just been plugging away in Vancouver ever since. Yeah.
Really, what I really want to know is what it was like for you for your first year as a realtor.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you don't have to go into anything that kind of.
No, it's fine. Yeah, no, yeah. Just you ask and I'll answer. That's fine.
So so what was it like for you in your first year as a realtor?
So my first year, I transitioned from pre-sale to resale.
Got it.
And it was tough. Like my first purchase took me, I think, 10 months to get someone into a property.
Wow.
So it's actually good because I learned that sometimes it just takes a lot longer, whereas a lot of people think it's just like printing money all the time. The first year, what I focused on was, this was like 10 years ago. So getting a website, because not everyone had them. Now everyone has them. Getting the website up and running. I really targeted a few buildings and areas with mailers. I just sat there and handwrote mailers all day long and mailed them out. And that actually kind of got me off the ground. I got really lucky because I got a phone call from a girl I went to high school with, and she worked for City TV, not breakfast television, Urban Rush on TV. And she got me on a show once every month or every couple months, which kind of went from like not much experience to the most credibility you can get. So that was a nice break for me. My brand I had at the time was called Condo Leo, and it was really catchy. It just kind of caught on with some people. So but for me, the first year was tough. It was a big learning curve. I wish I did a lot of things differently, like join a team, like we've talked about, things like that. But I'm glad it happened the way it did because I now know that. Like when someone says to me like, "Oh, Leo, we're so sorry it's taking forever," I go, "Look, my first place took me almost a year. I'm invincible to time. Don't worry. If you take 10 years, I'm still here for you. Don't worry." So I find it was good overall.
For myself, I'm starting to find that I'm getting very overwhelmed. With a lot of documents, with a lot of there's so much to learn.
And they don't teach you much in the course.
No, not at all. Absolutely, they don't teach you anything.
Absolutely nothing.
So, what are, let's say, your top 5 things that you would have done differently, or you would advise someone like myself who's new to stay focused at?
Definitely number 1 is like focus on an area, like a niche or a building or a location.
Got it.
You kind of want to start to specialize in one area and you want to have knowledge on that area. So wherever you pick, you just want to be the master of that.
Got it.
Mailers, online marketing, whatever you got to do for it. Social media is important these days. So it's almost like I did mailers. Those cost a lot of money. I kind of scraped by and made it work. But as far as social media goes, don't just think you're going to post listing and sales. A lot of realtors get in the real estate and think, I just got to post on Instagram and I'm going to be selling real estate all the time. Like these other guys, half of them are fake anyways. Like a lot of these sales aren't even people selling. People go to open houses and they pretend it's their listing, whatever. So social media is important. Do it, but don't spend all day surfing Facebook and Instagram and just trying to you got to have a specific approach to what you're going to do.
Got it.
And, you definitely, this has been something that's been true for everyone. We'll say leverage your network. Family, friends, you're coming from a good network, that's what you really have to go after. And if you do that, you don't want to be that annoying guy messaging your family and friends about real estate, but you want to let them know what you're doing. Whenever someone joins me, I would always say, okay, jump on your email and send every single person you know an individual email. Not the most time efficient thing, but if they just get a canned one that you sent everyone, they're like, whatever, we don't, he's not where if you're at least checking in with them and letting you know what you're doing, then they're going to be a little bit more inclined to chat with you. And I did that. I advise everyone to do it, because you have to use your network. Another thing that's tried and true is open houses. I've never been I've never gotten a ton of business from open houses by just being there and trying to get people to work with me. I got business from doing my own open houses where I just had crazy knowledge of, stratas especially. If you don't have knowledge, they hate talking to you. Because if you go to an open house and the realtor doesn't know anything about the home, they're going to walk up there going, what's this guy doing here? I've had success with knowing everything about the home, location, building, whatever. And they call me typically and say, hey, we met you at an open house a couple months ago.
Wow.
We're looking to sell, we're looking to buy, we really liked you. So don't be the guy, and it's different for everyone, but for me, don't be the guy that someone comes in hey, working with a realtor, hey, give me your info. People don't like that.
It's hard.
I'm a very soft approach,
Yeah.
and it's worked. But again, I'm not at an open house to get business. I'm there to sell my listing. So, and I feel like if you go with that approach, you're going to get business from it regardless.
Lean on your circle of influence.
100%. That's number one.
And leverage that.
Yeah.
Open houses are big.
Yeah.
And pick a niche, a specific area geographically, socio-demographic, whatever it may be that works for you, that you're well informed about that specific location.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, if you're working on Kitsilano and someone calls you in Burnaby to list their home, you're going to list it.
Of course.
But you're going to still hyper-focus on some marketing. So you can't market Burnaby, Brentwood, Kits, North Van. You can't, eventually you'll spread naturally. But hone in on a couple targeted areas.
Marketing specifically.
And especially the areas you already know, like where you grew up, where you're from. Those are the areas you're going to know the most about anyways, right?
Absolutely.
So it's, I work in Vancouver. I'm from Surrey, so when someone calls me from Surrey, I still have a ton of knowledge. I just don't market myself out there, right?
Got it.
Yeah.
A big question I think that comes up is a lot of people think that when you first become a real estate agent, that you're just going to be buying. It's hard to get listings. What were your thoughts on that? How did you get your first listing? Being a top 1% realtor, and I know, I see how busy you are, how many listings you have. Yeah. How did you get your first one?
I remember my first purchase, because that was my first place I ever helped someone in.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you. I'd have to look back, so I don't even know what my first one is. But how did I get it? I'm very sure it was from a mailer.
Got it.
So back in the day, my family and friends wouldn't use me at first. It took a long time to establish that trust. And I don't blame them. It must have been a mailer because there was a couple buildings I was sending mailers to.
Yeah.
And what happened is I was able to find out. I don't even know if I should be talking about this. I was able to find out.
Cut out whatever you.
No, it's fine. You can't do it anymore, anyways. I was able to find out where they lived, even if they didn't live in the unit. So they get a mailer about their building they own in, but if they lived in Maple Ridge, they're like, "How's this guy finding me?" But I got a lot of investors calling me to sell their condos downtown. They want to sell. So I started. I think it must have been from a mailer my first listing, but I really just can't even remember.
So it wasn't someone you knew.
No.
It was pretty much like a fresh, almost someone that just reached out to you.
Yeah.
And said, "Hey, Leo, would you be able to?" Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
It was. My like I said, my friends and family. I mean, my family doesn't buy and sell a ton of real estate. My dad was in his house forever. My mom was in her house forever. Like it wasn't like there was a lot of family stuff going on. My friends were all in my same position when we started. Not everyone was buying and selling homes at that point either. Now, getting into our 40s, like a lot of people own and sell and buy and things like that. So if you're older and you're coming from other industries, it's a little bit easier to leverage that stuff. Mm-hmm. If you're younger, 21, and all your friends are 21, they're not, especially now with prices where they're at, they're not going to be your main source, but they will eventually come around.
How do you feel about surrounding yourself with good, genuine people? Is that why you came to this brokerage, or what was your kind of...
One of the main reasons I came here. So
got it.
I already knew who was here.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to different brokerages, I always look at who's their agents there. Mm-hmm. And I won't say what companies there are, but there's a couple companies where I was just like, hate's a strong word. I've clashed with several of those realtors, and I've had issues, and I'm like, why would I want to be around those people? Mm-hmm. And this is the only brokerage that just doesn't allow those people in, right? Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, well, I looked at the list here, and I was like, I love this guy, I love her. Like I was like, like I said, Mike Rapp, Jeff Fitzpatrick. I was like, those are the guys I want to get around now. Mm-hmm. Those are the guys I've always looked up to in the industry. So myself personally, I wanted to get near them, and I bug Ramp all the time. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the main reasons. I love that they don't let everyone in. I actually didn't believe them at first, and I made Andrew give me a name he denied. I won't say the name, and I was like, oh, that's actually a big name. Okay, now I believe you. So that's one of the reasons I'm here. When I meet clients, I talk about it. I'm like, we're not letting anyone in here. And frankly, if they started doing it, I might look elsewhere because I don't want to be surrounded by a company. Most real estate companies' goal is to grow as many people as they can, as quick as they can. Yep. This is the complete opposite. It's not your typical business model for real estate brokerages, but that's why I like it, because we're not going to do
quality guys.
Everyone here is great, right? We all help each other. Like I really like it.
I can see that.
Yeah,
100%.
One of the main things you want to do that I didn't do and I wish I did was join the team when I started. Mm-hmm. A lot of real estate books I've read over the years say the same thing: join a team, join a team. The reason is, you're going to learn how to be busy. Mm-hmm. You're going to learn systems, I've created my own systems, and I'm like, geez, I wish I just met someone 15 years ago and I would have just had them instead of developing them over time. You're going to learn contracts, you're going to have support, you're going to have open houses at your beck and call because they're going to want you to fill them. Like when you join a team, you get that environment that you learn how to be a realtor, but also how to run the business. Because a lot of people just jump into real estate with no business background and they're just winging it. Like that's what I did. Luckily, I went to BCIT, but I feel like if you join a team or at least align yourself with some people, mentors, whatever, you're gonna progress a lot faster on the learning spectrum.
Absolutely. For sure. So the learning curve will just perfect. At what point did you really start seeing return clients? Because I think a lot of people get out of the industry before they really hit a point where they're kind of like seeing a lot more returning clients.
Yeah.
Whereas they're not, like for yourself, I can see that you're not that you're not hustling, and not that you're not trying to get new clients, but you're not aggressively going out there as you were in the beginning because you've established yourself.
Yeah.
You're one of the top guys in Vancouver. So when did you really start seeing that change?
I feel like in my third year, I was like, holy smokes, I'm already getting a call back from this person.
3 years.
I think the average is like 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
But you do good for one person.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're getting a call from their friend. Like if you do a good job, they're going to refer you. If you do a bad job, they're not going to refer you or use you again. So typically, it happens faster. Like I couldn't believe how fast they would.
Wow.
Someone buys a condo, 500 square feet. They're in it for 2 years. They're like, I've already outgrown this.
Yes.
They've moved on. Their careers are progressing. They're calling you again to sell and buy. Luckily, in Vancouver, that 2 years they own the property, it appreciated, so they've got even more money. So it's like it really happens fast. I mean, even myself, I move all the time, right? I'm always trying to just go to the next one. So people move. Yeah, thanks. I don't think there's a magic number. It used to be, what did they say? I think the average used to be 7 years.
Yeah.
They'll move. I think that number's way down just because of all the movement we've
4 or
seen.
5 years.
It's got to be lower, but it happens faster than you think. But you're right. A lot of people are in it for 2 years and they walk away.
Got it.
That's because they came in with the wrong mentality too. The biggest thing about real estate that I haven't mentioned yet, and I won't swear, but I use a term when I meet new people, is like, just be ready to get, it's hard and people are going to mess you over and someone's going to say they're going to use you. Next thing you know, they're listed with someone. So just be ready. You got to be able to really brush things off your shoulder.
Thick skin.
Thick skin, there it is. I don't have to swear. Your industry you came from, you probably dealt with that all the time.
Absolutely.
And I tell realtors all the time, just get ready. And they're like, why? Because that's what happens in real estate. Like at the end of the day, if they don't think you're the right guy for their home, whether you're best friends with them or it's your mom or dad, they're going to hire someone else because that's really important for them. So that's one thing I always like to hammer home with people.